Hey guys, it's me, Tommy, and I'm back again with another tutorial. In this video, I'll be showing you guys the viral boho look using human hair extensions to create these curls. I think this style was pretty easy to do, but sometimes you guys think it's pretty advanced, but you judge for yourself. So we're gonna start off with freshly washed pre-stretch hair. I am natural and I have a 4 texture. I don't know, 4B, 4C. A lot of times you guys say I'm not 4C. Sometimes you guys say I'm 4B, whatever. I'm type 4 texture. To create this style, the first thing you're gonna do is you're gonna section off the front of your hair for the cornrow pieces, and then the back I'm gonna do my rows for my knotless braids. So I'm just here just dividing my hair up. Now for the back, my hair was not blow dried straight, so it was kind of rough for me to see the back, so I'm just splitting the back so that I can see the rows when I'm parting my hair. So that's what I'm doing here. Now, if you do your hair yourself and you don't have a trifold mirror, what are you doing? This trifold mirror that I purchased from Amazon is super clutch because I'm able to see the back of my head. The only thing is that I have 12-foot ceilings and my doors are pretty high, so I can't attach it to the back of my door, which you can. So I attached it to a mirror so that I can kind of see behind, but you could just ignore that. But anyway, I'm using that trifold mirror so I can see the back of my head, and then I'm gonna cornrow each row just so that it's easier for me to access my rows when I'm ready to do it for my knotless braids. And if you're wondering, the back has 6 rows, and don't worry guys, I will give you the exact count of how many knotless braids I have in the back. As far as the hair, I'm gonna be using this hair from Magic Fingers that I purchased online. I only needed 1 pack. It's the color 1B and 52 inches. And then I'll be using my very own hair extensions. Of course, why not? If you own a hair extension company, why not use it? I'm using my Kinky curly hair in the length of 24 inches. I used 1.5 bundles to achieve this look. So when it comes to the hair extensions, if you're wondering how do I cut it, how do I install it, I'm just gonna show you guys. Ignore the thread when I'm unraveling it. But basically what I do is to gauge how much hair I need for like my curl, I just use the natural curl that's clumped together in the extension. So if the curls are clumped together, that's the piece of hair that I'm gonna be using in my braid. Again, ignore that thread. I'm gonna take it and throw it away. And then just cut it as close as you can to the weft. Now, I believe you can purchase loose braiding hair from AliExpress, which I might end up doing so I don't lose that much hair and I don't get those sharp ends at the end. So if I find anything, I'll link it below. And then I'm gonna use this thread holder to just hold my pieces of hair so it's easier for me to grab my hair when I'm braiding it. I'm gonna show you guys the back view of doing my knotless braids, and I'm gonna show you the front view on how to attach the hair. So with knotless braids, you always start off with braiding your hair first, and then you add extensions along. I'm gonna be doing 3 small pieces of extensions in order to get the thickness of my braids. If you're following along, that's what I did. If you want your braids thicker, you add more extensions. If you want it thinner, you add less. And then also I'm using edge control just so that my braids look a little bit more sleek. Again, because I have natural hair, so I kind of got to make it look a little sleek. And that's the edge control that I used. When it comes to adding the hair extensions now, I'm going to show you guys how to do it. So you can add the extensions at any point in your head. Now the extensions that I'm using towards the top, I'm gonna have more hair on the top. I'll show you, but I'm just gonna show you I'm adding some edge control to the end of the extension so it doesn't stick out. But I'm gonna be adding my curly hair more towards the top of the top rows so that it's more fuller. You're gonna go ahead and you're gonna feed that in. You're gonna add some edge control to the end to smooth down the edges, and then you're gonna braid down. I'm gonna show you guys again. I'm taking that extension that I cut. I'm gonna braid it into my hair. You see me grabbing it on. I'm gonna put the curly end in my mouth. You can use a clip if you want to. Add some gel or edge control and try to blend that sharp end as much as you possibly can into your hair. And as you see, I'm adding the extensions further up on the top than doing it spaced out towards the bottom. And again, I'm only doing that because I want the fullness to be on the top the more that I'm going up, so that there's fullness throughout the whole hairstyle. I'm gonna add my 3rd piece of hair and do the same thing. I'm going to add the piece in my mouth just to hold it down, add some edge control to my head and braid down. Huge disclaimer, I know you see this sticking out and you're like, huh, you said to slick it down. But it's not gonna slick down all the time. So if this happens for you, one, you can decide to cut it if you want to. I don't, because I don't wanna risk cutting my own hair. Or you could just leave it alone. It's a curly, messy hairstyle and no one's going to see those little pieces sticking out, so don't worry about it. But here you can see that I have my 3 curls, which I'm doing 3 curls per braid, more focused on the top than more focused on the bottom, because again, I want the fullness to be throughout my head. Now, this is how I ended off my braids because I wanted to have curly ends. I took another piece of extensions and I braided it into my hair. And you're gonna braid down until you get to the length that you want your hair to basically stop. And then I'm going to take the straight piece, the synthetic hair, and I'm gonna wrap it around in a knot. Now, you can 100% use hair glue. I preferably don't like using hair glue because sometimes when you rub the hair glue in to seal the hair, you get like this white cast, and I really don't like that white cast. So I opted to just do the knots. And after you knot it twice to make sure it's knotted really good, you can go ahead and snip away the ends of the straight synthetic hair. And then for this one, I'm actually just want a little bit of curly ends. So I'm gonna snip some of the curly extensions plus the synthetic hair, just leaving a small curly piece for the end. And that other piece that I snipped off, I'll use it for another braid. As far as the front of my hair, I'm gonna sort of show you guys like the parting that I did, just in case you really wanted to mimic this look. If you love this look so much and you are following along, I'm showing you guys my braid pattern. So what I did is I made basically 3 triangles, and I'm gonna work with each section of that triangle. So adding the edge control to my hair, I'm able to see my parting a little bit better. And then I'm gonna start with the first triangle that's more in the lower part of my hair. My edges are very, very, very sensitive, and I don't want to risk ruining them. Any hairstyle, like if I leave this hairstyle in too long, if I tie my scarf down too tight, my edges, they just break. So when it comes to braiding my natural hair, I always like to just twist first before I start braiding, so it's not that much tension at the roots of my hair. And then I also make sure that I'm not braiding my hair too tight. Braiding your hair too tight, 1, makes the style super uncomfortable, and 2, I don't want you guys to suffer from traction alopecia. So you don't need to braid your hair super tight where you end up looking like you had a facelift. Just braid your hair so that it's neat, that's it. Also, because my hair is a little bit longer, there's no need for me to add the extensions in. So I'm adding the extensions in towards the end of the cornrow, taking one side, braiding it in, and then taking the other side and gathering it in. So that's just the way that I feed in my braids when I'm doing cornrows. I did a video similar to this years ago, and one person was like, that's not sanitary. So if you don't like putting hair in your mouth, you can always just pin it away. For me, it's just easier to just put it in my mouth and then just pull it out. That's just me. And I'm gonna continue doing the same method of braiding my hair down and adding the curly hair. Again, you can add the curly extensions at any point of your braid. You can add as many as you want, as less as you want. If you don't want too many curls, obviously add less extensions. If you want it to be that va-va-voom, you can add more. I personally think that Kinky Curly is full in itself. So doing a bundle and a half can give you a nice full look if you're very strategic on where you're placing your hair. Because if you place your hair more towards the bottom, then it's gonna be flat on the top. So remember, on the bottom, focus on adding the extensions more towards the middle of the bottom. And then on the top, focus on adding your extensions more on the top, just so that you can have that uniformed fullness. And I'm basically just gonna continue that same method of cornrowing my hair and adding the extensions. And I'm just gonna stop talking so that you guys, like I said, if you're interested in seeing my braid pattern, you can see it. I also will have a timestamp below, so if you wanna skip this whole process and just see the end results, you can just click on the timestamp to see the end results. This is optional. If you want to, you could add some curl defining mousse to your hair. I was about to head out that day and I didn't like that neat look. So I just want to just like make the hair a little bit fuller by like pulling it apart but not giving it any frizz. So adding mousse helps with that. So that's just what I'm doing, is I'm just adding mousse. If you want, you can just spray the hair with some water with conditioner in it. And this is the final results, guys. I really love this hairstyle. Like, I'm kind of obsessed with this hairstyle. I plan to keep it in for about 3 weeks, only because I just don't like my hair looking too frizzy. And here's just a shot of how many braids I have. Now, I know that I definitely skipped a row, so I apologize for that. I really thought I caught that second row. But again, I will put the deets below if you wanted to know about how many braids I have. But I'm just gonna tell you the total of knotless braids. I'm not gonna sit there and say I had 4 braids on row 1. Y'all can count it. Y'all can pause it if you want this exact hairstyle. And I gotta give myself a little pat on the back. I think I did a pretty good job parting the back of my head using that trifold mirror. Looks pretty good. Like, I feel like I kind of look like a professional. Look at how neat these boxes are. Like, come on, thumbs it up if you agree. Thumbs it up if you agree. But this style, I actually started my hair around 12 p.m. and I finished around 6 o'clock. And that's because I actually had to stop. I have a 3-year-old, so I had to take care of her. I had to stop and eat. So it did take me about 5 hours to complete. And huge disclaimer, that knot method that I showed you, you may lose some hair. So if you want to use the glue, you can. I personally think it's the synthetic hair that I use. I totally forgot that I hated that synthetic hair, which is the reason why I had them in my stash, because it doesn't seal. Like, it doesn't stay. Like, even when I had my knotless braids, I had issues with it unraveling, even with me dipping it in hot water. So just that method of tying it in a knot may work for you depending on the synthetic hair or the KINKY hair that you use. But I had to go ahead and find the pieces of hair that dropped and re-put it in my hair. But what I decided to do this time is, after I actually did that knot, is I just crocheted it in my braid to just help avoid the hair unraveling. And hopefully it works. And I'm hoping that if I do lose any curly pieces, it's not when I'm like at Trader Joe's, but it's like when I'm home, just, you know, being a mom. So I just hope it doesn't come out. But yeah, just letting you know, like, yeah, I did lose some pieces. I was looking, because I'm like, you know what, I'm doing the end and the slash beginning in my thumbnail. I want to make sure that all my curls are intact. And I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, I definitely lost hair. Like, I was too through. So if you want to use glue, you can use glue. All in all, guys, like I said, I really love this hairstyle. I think I'm going to do it for my 10-year wedding anniversary next month. Leave your comments below if you have any questions, and I'll see you guys in my next video.